Okay, shalom everyone. This is going to be a very, very special live lesson in video if you're watching this on YouTube. For those of you that have watched my recent upload, I revealed in there the terrifying reality of the theological system behind which Frankism and Sabbatian Frankism concurs to enact vile and heinous crimes against humanity. In that particular video, there was a deep dive behind their reasonings. And what you must understand in the midst of this is that you're dealing with something theologically driven. You're not dealing with something that is rebellious in the sense of the modern day Levian Satanists and so on and so forth. But rather we're dealing with something that is anchored in the root of holiness through a perversion of the arcane mysteries. For those of you that have ever read the Tales of the Hasidim or Legends of the Hasidim, there are stories about Baal Shem Tov and his debates against Yaakov Frank and his attempt to try and usurp this theological problem and uproot it and change it. And of course, for anyone who knows the Legends of the Hasidim, know that he was not successful in doing this. Rav Israel went up into the upper heavens and he asked for the Mashiach to come. And the Satan came and said, I will send you the Mashiach. It says, so he sent to him Yaakov Frank. So with this being said, we end at a crossroads here. And that crossroads is, what do we do given the circumstances? If this is the problem, and we can identify the problem, what is the solution? And the answer to that is the underlying illimitable in existence. It is the entire reason why I started my channel. It is the entire reason why I've spent so many years teaching and bringing these things down. And now, for the first time, we have something that will work. Something that will solve the problem that is plaguing society right now. Evil is a byproduct of error, and error is a byproduct of ignorance. For darkness is ignorance, and those who walk in ignorance produce error, and from error produce evil. And so the evil that is in the world is rooted, in particular, in ignorance. Darkness is not an opposition to the light. Darkness is the absence of the light. Therefore, the only solution to such a situation that we find ourselves in is the light. And it's precisely for this reason that what I'm getting ready to share with you all is not just the birthright of every single person, but it is the birthright of humanity itself. It is the birthright of existence. And under no circumstances should the information I'm getting ready to reveal to you be suppressed in any type of way. As a result of this, what I'm getting ready to share with you, I've made available for everybody, for every single person, given freely. Because this must happen. Now, by the blessing of God, Baruch Hashem, there will be a physical in the future, hopefully in sometime in October. Right now, our projected date is, God willing, October 13th. But in the interim part, there will be a link provided if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're watching this on TikTok here, my YouTube is called Restoration of the Breach, the very same as my TikTok. I will have a link pinned down there and you'll be able to download it directly. As I said, what I'm about to share with you is not just the birthright of every individual, it is a birthright of existence itself. And therefore, every single human being should have access to this information, and you will soon know and learn why that is. And with it, you will also understand the solution to this problem, the solution to the evil that we're facing in this world. So I'm going to go ahead and begin now. When I have spent years of my life preserving in Aramaic and in Hebrew manuscripts and tomes with veiled language, so on and so forth, I'm going to unveil today. So here we are looking at a document that if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a link for it down below. This document, as I said, is not just the birthright of every single person. It is the birthright of existence itself. How do we solve the problem of evil? How do we solve the problem of the darkness pervading our society? And the answer is the light, the underlying light of the illimitable, awakening, transcending, ascending the existence of humanity to a new realm of existence. So it begins with world peace. Now, many of you who have watched this are familiar with the basic concepts of Aleph separates Mem from Shin, but I'm going to go ahead and overcap it very briefly, and we're going to move into much deeper things. Now, Aleph separates Mem from Shin. It's written, of course, Vayomer Elohim Yehiur v'Yehiur. God said, let there be light, and there was light. And therefore, all of reality came into existence via speech. We should not think speech in the phonetic sense. Rather, we should think of it as a code. Reality is a code. And it was created through those 22 sacred letters, which are the 3 mother letters, the 7 double letters, and the 12 simple or elemental letters. The mother letters are Aleph, which is from the Hebrew word avir, meaning air. Mem, which is from the Hebrew word mayim, meaning water, has a sophete form, meaning if it's written at the end of a word, it's written in a different fashion, and is rooted in the word adamah, meaning ground, representing earth, and shin, fire. The first principle that we're going to look at is Aleph separates Mem from Shin. The air separates liquids and solids from the light. Now I want you to take a look at the environment. Okay? Is the land and sea separated from the stars above by the atmosphere? Now I want you to look at the planets. Are planets bodies of solids or liquids and solids separated from a centralized star by space? I want you to look at yourself. Do your eyes that receive light separated from your mouth, taking liquids and solids by your nose that breathes the air? Now I want you to look at your body. Does your brain move via light signals, separated from the stomach, processing liquids and solids by the lungs that breathes the air? I want you to acknowledge and notice a reoccurring pattern, a code. Look at the environment. Land and sea separated from the stars above by the atmosphere. Now look at that same code pattern, a universe. Planets. Solids or liquids and solids separated from a centralized star by space. Now I want you to look at the face. Do your eyes see the light separated from your mouth, taking liquids and solids by your nose that breathes the air? Your ears that receive sound from the air. I want you to look at the body. Is your head move your body via light signals from the brain, separated from the stomach, processing liquids and solids by the lungs that breathes the air? The unity of humanity. I want you guys to witness and see the code. Really see it, though. See it in yourself. Now ask yourself the question. What would this world look like if we saw the unity of the illimitable infinite one dwelling in all of us, where would racism be? Where would hatred be? How would we treat each other? Imagine a world where every person beholds the divine in themselves. Imagine a world where every person sees the divine in each other. What type of world would that be? Would that be a world of division, suffering, and hatred? I want you to see that in the environment around you. I want you to see what unity looks like, what ascended consciousness looks like, to see the divine pattern in your fellow man, all around you. Now I want you to look at the animal. The eyes that see the light separate from the mouth, taking liquids and solids by the nose that breathes the air. I want you to look at the body of the animal. Does its brain and its head move its body via light signals, separate from its stomach, processing liquids and solids by its lungs that breathes the air? I want you to notice the same pattern that defined the environment, that defined the planets, that defined our face, that defined each other and our body. The same with the animals. It is a universal truth. This is what the future looks like. You can kill flesh, but you cannot kill ideas. And even more so, you cannot kill the truth. How would we treat the animals if we could see the same divine law in them as well? Could you see God when you looked at a bird? Could you see God when you looked at a dog? Or a fish? And if we went back in time, the dinosaur, eyes that see the light, separate from its mouth, taking liquids and solids by its nose that breathes the air. Its head, via its brain, moving its body via light signals, separate from its stomach, processing liquids and solids by its lungs that breathes the air. I want you to see it in every plant. Does every plant receive its color from the light, utilize photosynthesis, separate from its roots in the earth, drawing water by its leaves, converting atmospheric substance? What would a world look like if you saw God in a blade of grass? What would the world look like if you saw God in everything around you? I want you to see in other dimensions. I want you to become aware of the dreams. In your dreams, you too will see Aleph separates from Shin. I want you to see the same divine pattern on angels. I want you to see the same divine pattern on demons. I want you to understand, by the word of his mouth, he created the heaven and the earth, and really take into consideration what that means and what that looks like. What are people going to say when they stand before the Holy One, blessed be He, after they've died? And for the first time ever, they will have seen the way that you've treated everybody is the way that you've treated God. The way that you treated the environment is the way you treated God. The way you treated those animals is the way you treated God. I want you to see the same code. I want you to see it in the atom. What we're talking about is not just the unity of our planet. What we're talking about is something intergalactic. What we're talking about is something interdimensional. It is written, by the word of his mouth he created the heavens and the earth. And even before that in which we call emanation, that in which we call the tree of life, the spheros, even they are divided accordingly. The letter Shin and its top 3 points are Keter, Chokmah, and Bina. Its base is the spheres of Das. Aleph is divided between Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet. The 2 top points of Mem are Netzach and Hod. Its base is Yisod. And Mem Sophis is Malkut. I want you to see and understand how Aleph separates Mem from Shin, precedes even the tree of life. Now we're going to go in to many of the deep mysteries. And again, for those of you that are joining in, for those of you that are watching, a link to this book is going to be provided in the comment section down below. If you're on this live, you will find it on my YouTube Restoration of the Breach under a video called The Solution. I will be uploading it there after this live. Now we're going to go into some of the mysteries. This is the concept of the Tzimtzum. The idea that the illimitable restricted itself from all directions. Where did it restrict itself? Precisely in the center. It withdrew from all directions precisely in the center to create a vacancy where there was no vacancy, a limit where there was no limit, a depth where there was no depth, a height where there was no height. A place for creation to take place. Now, what is the sod of this? As I've said, I've made a terrible mistake. My mistake is that I've spoken about these mysteries as if there are others out there that have these levels. And the answer to that is that there simply isn't. There are those who enter the philosophical ideals through windows, like thieves, and who espouse and regurgitate that which they've received from books and from teachers. But the Torah of Atzilus was not found in them. They could not reveal what it means, but I will show to you what it means. If, in the beginning, everything withdrew in a circular fashion, and it constricted itself in a circular fashion, I should see evidence for this. This is what is written. What can I witness to you? What can I liken to you? It's not a question, it's a statement. There are no questions. And therefore it's written, I call heaven and earth to bear witness against you this day. So I take reality as my witness. Reality will be my witness. Look at the shape of the universe. Is it circular? At the highest level? I want you to look at the smallest level. Are electrons revolving around protons and neutrons? I want you to look at the space in between. Are the revolutions of planets around stars in concentric circles? Now the light that restricted was the secret of the light of God. And the essence of God are the essence of his letters, his 22 holy letters. We call the place which was restricted the hard spark. We call it the 231 gates. In essence, the light, which are the 22 letters, withdrew in that place. If this is so, then when I look at the smallest level, I should see some evidence of this. Now, I want you to look at the smallest level of the body. I want you to see how there are 22 key elements in the human body. I want you to see how you are made up out of the light of those letters, differentiated into each different aspect. I want you to look at your DNA. I want you to see how there are 22 pairs of autosomes. The 23rd is a pair of sex chromosomes and are not included. I want you to see how there are 22 pairs of autosomes, just like the 22 Hebrew letters, just like your body is made out of those 22 elements. I want you to see how there are 22 aspects to the mitochondrial RNA. Now we're going to go down into the divine form. That hard spark, which is made up out of those 22 Hebrew letters, form what are called the fronts and the backs of the Sefirot. In short, the 22 letters are divided between 11 letters and 11 letters. An example the 11 spheros from Aleph to Malkut for the fronts, and the 11 sphirot from Keter to Malkut from the backs. What does it mean, though? These divine mysteries were talked about at great depth in Emek HaMelech. Rav Naftali, who received a tradition from the Arizal, mainly via Israel Sarug, discussed it in great detail. Because this text was written almost 500 years ago and is in Aramaic, and there is no translation of it, it is incredibly lost to our generation. And none really understood exactly what it was that he was trying to say, nor why he revealed it in such a way, nor that he had seen this particular thing I'm going to show you. If you follow the path, Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, you end at Malkut, and then you continue the letters Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Fe, Tzadi, Kof, Resh, Shin, Tav. We find there's a connection between Malkut and Keter of the backside. What does it mean? The word front, panei, also means face. And what it teaches us is that all of these spheros are the tree of the face. And they're located in this one spheros, which is the Keter of the tree of the body. That is to say, the head. Now I want you to see the divine form. I want you to see how there's a tree of life in your face. Or Chokhmah and Bina are the two lobes of the brain, Chesed and Gevurah are the two eyes, the nose, the ears, and the mouth. I want you to see how this tree is located in particular right there at the head of the body, and how the body is also a tree. And this is why it is written Et Adam. It doesn't just say Adam. It doesn't just say the man. It says Et Adam. Aleph Tav is the man. Now that we've briefly touched on this divine form, I want you to look closely. I want you to see the image of the Word. Now that we moved along, we're going to look at the three pillars. I want you to see how the left pillar is red, and the right pillar is white, and the center pillar is yellow. Take a good look. The left pillar is red, the right pillar is white, and the center pillar is yellow. So, let me know when you guys are ready. Do you guys see this? Red, yellow, and white. Take a good look. The left pillar is red, the center is yellow, and the right is white. You ready? Look at your body. Look at the three pillars. The flesh, the skeletal structure, and the nervous system. I want you to see how these three pillars divided your blood. I want you to see the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and the yellow plasma. I want you to look at your hair. I want you to see how people have red hair, which go to brown hair and black hair. I want you to see how people have white hair, and I want you to see how people have blonde hair. I want you to see the spectrum of melanin in human skin. Take a look at the eyes. When it is strained, it produces the color red. When it is healthy, it is white, and when it is sick, it is yellow. Take a careful look. Let's go back to that. Pay attention to the underlying, illimitable in reality. Where would racism be if we knew the truth about our existence? If we saw the divine in each other, in ourselves? Assuredly he said, I call heaven and earth to bear witness against you this day. Carefully look. Now, is this subjective or objective? Does every male produce white? Does every female produce red? Does the center of the body produce yellow? Of course. It is the light of truth that will awaken humanity. It is the light of the illimitable one, blessed be he, that will resolve the problems we see. Because the problems that we have, the evil that is in this world, is a result of error. And as I've stated before, this error is a result of darkness, and darkness is ignorance. This is why I said that this document is not just the birthright of every person, it is the birthright of humanity itself. Now, there are many things that I can go into over the course of this particular Sepher. But for this purpose, I'm going to take you guys just to a glimpse through it. We want to talk about the divine name. Many people talk about the name Y.I.R.A.H as if they understand anything about it. They talk about the 72 name, and the 63 name, and the 45 name, and the 52 name, as if they understand anything about it. When I said that I went into the heavenly yeshivot, there wonders were discussed, things that would bewilder the mind, impossible. I'm going to share with you the roots of this matter right now. Behold, Likkutei Yirah is the body of the Adam Elyon, the Yod is the head, the He are the arms, the Vav is the torso, and the He are the legs. These in turn are associated with the 72 name, 63 name, 45 name, and 52 name, all corresponding to the Adam Elyon. Those of you that are versed in advanced Lurianic Kabbalah or the Zohar will be very familiar with these names. The 72 name to Atzilus, the 63 to Beriah, the 45 to Yetzirah, the 52 Asiya. But what does this mean? For these were the light that entered into the Tehiru, the vacancy. For that reason, the word Tehiru has the value of 232, which is 231 Imkalel, which is the numerical value of 72, 63, 45, 52, because they were the lights of the Adam Elyon that descended into that place. So let's go into what this really means. If the 72 is associated to the letter Yud, which is the head, if the 63 is associated to the letter He, which are the hands and the arms, if the letter Vav is associated with the 45, which is the torso, and if the letter He is associated with the 52, which are the hips, the legs, and the feet, let us look. This is why the 72 name. This is the Sod of Sod. This is the Torah of Atzilus. Behold, there are 72 parts of the head. Why is the 72 name associated with the letter Yud, which is the head of the Adam Elyon? Because he fashioned your head according to its lights. There are 22 bones in your skull, 43 muscles to the face, 7 organs in the head. Take a look. I want you to look at the 63 name in the hands. I want you to look at the 27 bones of the hand and the 34 muscles of the hand and the 2 sections of the arm. I want you to look at the 45 name associated with the torso. I want you to look at the 33 bones in the spine and the 12 pairs of ribs. The 52 name to the feet and the 26 bones in the right and left foot. I want you to see how we are created in the image of God, the divine Adam Elyon, in which he garbed himself in. And again, why I said that what is written in the Sepher is the birthright of humanity. It is the birthright of every single one of you to know what you are made in the image of, for you to know the truth, for you to see the light in yourself, and then see the light in others. And again, I poise to ask you that question: what would this world look like? What would this world look like? Thus, I have compiled this book alongside many secret others to release it to the world for free. So after this live on this TikTok, I will be uploading it to my YouTube channel, Restoration of the Breach, and I will pin the link to download this Sepher inside of the comment section down below. With the help of God, there will be a physical copy of it available on October 13th. But this digital copy is given away to every single person for free. And for every person that benefits from it, share it. The solution to the problems that we face today is the light. Ascending consciousness and becoming aware of the divine. We cannot continue to be ignorant of each other, ignorant of the divinity around us. We must wake up. We need to see the structure in everything. Many people know that Malkuth is associated with the moon, Y.I.R.A.H is associated with the planet, Tiferet is associated with the star. But what does that mean? The Y.I.R.A.H keep it in the level of the mixed multitude. They keep it behind mysticism. They say, oh, Malkuth, it's called the moon, and never explain why. Y.I.R.A.H is called Kochev, planet, never explain why. Tiferet is called the sun, never explain why. But I'm going to show you. Malkuth is a moon, Y.I.R.A.H is a planet, Tiferet is a star. Da'as, called Techom or the void. Now let's watch. The first connection, Malkuth to Y.I.R.A.H. Do moon circle planets? Is this a subjective statement or an objective statement? Moon circle planets. Moon circle planets circle stars. Moon, circle planets, circle stars. Moon, circle planets, circle stars, circle black holes. Galactic center is a black hole. Moon, circle planets, circle stars, circle black holes. I want you to look. This is real Kabbalah. Not the Western nonsense, not the culturally appropriated nonsense, not the thieves in the Y.I.R.A.H who keep it mystical and philosophical and devoid of its divine light. I want you to see the truth. Not faith, not belief. I want you to witness it with your eyes. It is your birthright to know the truth. It is the birthright of every person to know the truth. There are so many divine things to get into. The true temple. Aleph Mem Shin. The altar of incense is Aleph. Mem is the shewbread. Shin is the menorah. Its 7 branches are the 7 double letters. And the 2 stacks of 6 shewbread, those are the 12 elemental letters. You should know that the temple are the letters and the letters alone. So the Zohar says in the Pasuk, through Ma, verse 472, But in the temple, all the letters dwell. And the temple was created through them alone, equal to the whole world. Just as the whole world was created with all of the letters, with every letter having a particular place, so was the temple individually created with all the letters by itself. This is why our sages said that before creation existed, the temple existed. Because the temple, the real temple, is the word of God. That is why in Tractate Avodah Zarah, it is idolatry to create any of the instruments inside of the temple, which means, are we allowed to create a 7-branch menorah? The answer to that is no. And so you will find in Hanukkah and so on and so forth, 8 branches, because it is idolatry to create a 7-branch menorah. Why is it idolatry to create any of the things inside of the temple? Because the real temple are the letters. Now I'm going to scroll you through all the explanations of the letters, the forms, what we're really dealing with. This is called the chariot. The lower 7 sefirot are the lower 7 forms. Your spirit form, desire form, your holy form, your soul form, emotion form, mental form, physical form. You have these forms, you're not these forms. You're a spark of the illimitable expressing yourself through them. You have emotions, you're not your emotions. You have a mind, you're not your mind. You have a body, you're not your body. You have a higher self, you're not your higher self. You have desires, you're not your desires. You have a spirit, you're not your spirit. You have a soul, you're not your soul. What are you then? You're a spark of existence because God is existence. And over time, dross builds up on these forms, and from the zechomah of the keli, from the filth built up on these vessels, the serpent was birthed. The 7-headed serpent, your collective sum of experiences, your persona, that identity, the you that thinks that you're you. This is what you're really dealing with. What is above you? So you should know that these 7 forms gather into the body, through the mind, into the heart. And here within inside of the heart, it produces 7 types of fire, which are 7 types of light, or 7 types of influences. These influences ascend from the heart to the mind. And when these influences are garbed in words, which are angels, for the word melach or angel means a messenger. They start off as influences in the heart. They ascend from the heart to the mind, garbing themselves in words, which are angels. And the negatively charged words become demons, and the positively charged words become angels. And then the groupings of these words, which are the groupings of these angels and these demons, create heavens and hells. And then you, the spark of existence, is dragged in the midst of them. Ascension and the supernal hechalot. I don't intend here to take too much more of your time. But again, we stand and have an opportunity right now to awaken. Right now, to open our eyes from the deep slumber we've been in, the slumber of ignorance. The opportunity to change the world from within. The future is not going to be changed by revolutions. It's not going to be changed by wars. It's not going to be changed by political systems. It is going to be achieved through world peace, through the light of God, through that which unites us and not what separates us. That is how world peace is achieved. When we recognize the divine in ourselves, in each other, in the environment, in the animals, in the plants, the birds, the fish, in everything. So I'll make mention of it one last time. For those of you that are watching this, after this live, I will be uploading it to my YouTube channel, which is called Restoration of the Breach, the same as my TikTok. And I will pin a link to download this Sepher. It is given freely to everybody, because it is the birthright of everybody, the birthright of each and every human being to know their Creator, the birthright of humanity to be given the truth. It is the truth that will set us free. It is the light of God that will unite all of us. And then evil will disappear because error will disappear. Error will disappear because ignorance will disappear. Because the world is in darkness, which is ignorance, it produces error. Because error exists, evil exists. The only thing that will remove the evil is the light. Darkness is not the opposition of light, it is the absence of light. The only solution to the problem we have is light, real light. And so this is a call to all of you. If you see this light, open your eyes. And if you see this light, join the illumination of the world. Open the eyes of others. At the very end of this Sepher, I want you to read what it says. May you see none of me and only God. I am as nothing before him, and this is not my light nor my book, but all is God's. All comes from him, and all return to him. May I have found grace in his eyes. As David HaMelech said, open my eyes and I behold the wonders of your Torah. Amen, everyone. Shalom, Selah. World peace. For the first time, this is not a philosophical ideal, but it is a reality. In conjunction with Project Y.I.R.A.H, we have been laboring to reveal the underlying divinity of all existence. Imagine seeing the divine in each and every human being. Imagine a world free of racism and hatred, where what unites every single person is the divinity in which underlies their very being. A world where we are all united in peace and difference is celebrated. And not just us, but every animal, each made by the same divine code of existence. This is now our reality. The underlying matrix and condition of our existence, regardless of species, plants and trees, environment, and each other. The future is now at hand, and for the first time, this information, by utilizing technology, is available to each and every one of you. And not only is it available, but it's made manifest. Behold, we can actually see it